Hi, everybody. How are you today? Happy Tuesday. This morning, I have a special guest here. My friend Anke is here to talk to us a little bit about some of her story with health and wellness. And Anke is someone that you actually really inspire me. And so when I thought of someone I could just interview and ask some questions to about health and fitness and just incorporating it in real life situations, I thought of you. And so Anke, I want to just ask if you can share a little bit about yourself and a little bit of your background and who you are.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Anke, like Molly shared. I'm 32 years of age. I have an 8-month-old son who is keeping me quite busy. So I do understand more now than ever that exercise and being healthy and keeping yourself healthy is a luxury, where when I was still without child, it was much easier to get to gym, to go running, to eat a certain way. So I'm 32. I am a Pilates instructor and also a massage therapist. I did grow up in a family where exercise wasn't necessarily of that importance to us. We did a little bit of hiking, going fishing, going hunting, but I didn't really grow up where it was a value. But for some reason, I always loved sport, always loved being healthy, taking care of my body, and it's kind of flowed over into my life. And everything that I perceive or what I look at, I always take mental, emotional health into account.
That's awesome. I think that's so important, the mental and emotional and physical well-being, because it all ties in together. So this month in March, we're focusing on fitness. And so I wanted to ask if you could share any tips that you have, especially for, us who are busy moms and trying to fit everything in, take care of ourselves, take care of our families, take care of our bodies. Some of us trying to get, our body back after having a baby, and just getting that core strength back. So do you have any advice or tips that you could share with us about how you've done that and what's really worked well for you?
I really want to encourage you moms. I do understand how difficult it is. I do understand that we don't have a lot of time to get to exercise. So preparing for today and just looking at my own life, I have written down a couple of things. So there's 4 tips that has really helped me to get back into exercise and always to mentally encourage myself to exercise. The first one is make a decision of importance when it comes to exercise. We have to say, listen here, to exercise is important. It releases endorphins in our body. It makes us feel good. It's a time that you can maybe break away from your heavy schedule, from working, from kids, from being with your husband. So the first thing is say, you know what, exercise is important.
Yeah, it's so good.
So it's good to do that. Then number 2 is, this is going to be a funny one. It's good to say, hey, I'm going to spend money on exercise. It is be willing to spend money on exercise. I think a lot of us have gym contracts and we tend to not always go to the gym. Or we say, you know what, I'm not going to spend money on exercise, but then we end up spending money on fast food.
Oh my goodness.
Instead of saying, let's spend money on exercise. So I think sometimes say, hey, let's prioritize putting away money for a Pilates session. Actually, when you're subscribed to the gym, actually go to the gym. If you can't and you feel like I don't see money towards exercise as an important thing, there's park runs on Saturdays that a lot of people go to. There's YouTube videos. You can find so many really good Pilates, yoga, any exercise on YouTube, 15 to 20 minutes that you can quickly do while your baby is napping, or when you come back from home after work and you quickly want to do a 15-minute exercise. YouTube is really a great source.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Tap into.
That's a great tip. Hope you guys are taking notes. This is good stuff.
Number 3, include people.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I do go do the park run and I see these 6-7-year-olds running with their parents, I think, wow, they're really making exercise a value for their children from a young age. I honestly believe if you do anything you can to incorporate exercise into your kids' life, they're going to actually grow up being adults who in some way or another want to incorporate exercise into their own lives. We sometimes say, I don't want to exercise, or I don't want to force my kids to do exercise. But if you just do one simple thing to incorporate exercise into their lives, I promise you they're going to grow up and want to do it themselves.
Right. Yeah. And none of us, I mean, if we're honest, maybe want to do hard things, right? And exercise can be hard. So I think we need some of that motivation and to motivate our kids too. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. And then the fourth one is set a big goal, but have grace on yourself in the time period that you want to reach this goal. So I've decided to work up to a 10K run. I want to at least 5 to 6 times a week do a 10K.
Wow.
But I'm actually at 4Ks now. It's taken me 4 or 5 months to work myself up, where I started with I could only do 1K, then 2, then 3, and now I can actually run a whole 4K without stopping. And again, that's my big goal. But for the last 2 weeks, I've been ill. I've had flu, and with a baby and flu, that makes it even more difficult. So then I actually went running yesterday. It was really hard. I had to push myself to actually now physically finish a 4K, but I'm not giving up. Right. I might only reach my 10K at the end of 2019, but every day I'm just pushing myself a little bit more.
As long as you're making progress, that's so good.
Yes. So choose a goal. I'm going to do 1 hour of YouTube videos a week. I'm going to subscribe to 1 Pilates class a week. I'm going to definitely go to the gym 3 hours a week. And if you fail, just start again the next week. But set a goal. Set something that is reachable, that you can say, I can actually accomplish this in my week, with my kids, with work, with making food, with looking after your husband.
That's so good. So I'm getting so much value out of this, and really you're encouraging and motivating me. The last year or two, I got interested in Pilates. And so that's one thing too I wanted to ask you about is Pilates, and why you would maybe recommend that form of exercise over a different kind, even though I know you're very avid and interested in many different forms of exercise. What is good about Pilates?
So I actually have a medical condition, which I only realized when I moved to Mozambique for 6 months and didn't exercise as much as I would have liked to. I have a natural fusion in the back of my neck. So I was born with my C2 and C3 that is fused. And in that time, it caused a lot of strain on my back muscles and my neck muscles, because my muscles had to work harder to, aid that birth defect. Okay. And I actually started Pilates before that. And I remember when I walked into the Pilates class, I thought, I'm fine, I exercise. So I was playing around with the Pilates ball and doing this whole curl over the Pilates ball. And I got a huge spasm in my back.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had 3 hours of Pilates before me. And at the end of those 3 hours, my back pain was completely gone. Over the years, I've not struggled as much with my back. But the main reason why I would say Pilates is such a great exercise, not just for anybody, but specifically for moms, is as we have children, it affects our core muscles, but also growing up when you're in school, we are created, or our bodies are formed in such a way where our muscles have certain functions that it has to, what's the right word? Certain functions that it has to accomplish. And sitting in front of computers, doing certain chores, doing certain bad habits in life, it causes our muscles to not function the way it's supposed to. Okay. And what Pilates does is it mentally, but also physically helps our bodies to work again the way it's supposed to. So your muscles actually will start working again the way it did when you were a young kid. Usually when you see babies sitting, you can see that their postures are perfect. Their backs are straight, everything is straight. And we're actually born with that perfect muscle function. But as we have bad habits of sitting in front of the computer, sitting at a desk in school, those muscles become so weak and forget what their function is. And Pilates really gets that function back.
Okay. Wow. So you're re-educating your body,
your whole body.
Actually, that's amazing. So what do you think about kids, like doing Pilates? Is that something that Like, is that a good idea?
That's a very good idea. I actually think if you can have your kids start Pilates at a very young age, I mean, when do we go to school? 6, 7? We already start going to school. So if you mentally think about it, your kid or your child is already starting to learn bad core and back habits at 6, 7 years of age. So if we're doing Pilates with our kids an hour a week from early as 7, 8 years old, and they will enjoy it so much. There's balls, there's foam rollers, there's toys, different things you can actually use to make the exercise fun. And then you're actually thinking, you know what, I can't stop my kid from going to school. They're going to sit in front of this. We live in a life of technology, so they're going to sit in front of iPads. But how can I improve their life and their muscle function, but also make them love exercise as they grow up, so that when they become adults in their 20s, 30s, they're actually not just loving exercise, but their muscles are actually healthy and working the way it's supposed to work.
That's really good. So let's see. Is there anyone that has inspired you in your fitness journey?
Well, I wouldn't say there's someone specific that has motivated me, but I do believe you get two types of people when it comes to exercise. You get self-motivators. Okay. I'm a big self-motivator. I think that's why I love fitness, and I go into fitness, and I studied Pilates, and I do sports massage because I love self-motivating myself. I can easily go on the road and do a couple of K run without someone saying to me, hey, Anke, you have to do this, or let me do this with you. And then we get people who need to be motivated, which is not a bad thing. Both of them are positive. We are different people with different personalities. But if you are one of those people who need to be motivated, I would say align yourself with someone who is a self-motivator. We always need that bit of a push in the beginning, and don't feel bad if you are not a self-motivator. It's not a bad thing, like I said, but you can actually change that mindfulness of not wanting to motivate yourself if you do have someone that motivates you.
That's good. Oh, it's so are you a self-motivator or an others, would you call it an others motivator? So which one are you? Are you self-motivated, or do you need someone else to motivate you?
I'm definitely self-motivated.
Yeah. And so for our viewers too, like if you're self-motivated, drop that in the comments, or if you are motivated by others, drop that in the comments, because I think is your goal to kind of turn people into someone who motivates others?
Yes. Yeah. And I believe everybody can become a self-motivator. I just believe we, because of our lifestyles and the way we perceive exercise, we've told ourselves that we don't want to be motivated. But that's what I'm saying. Align yourself with someone who is, and I can guarantee you, sometimes we see people who go do these long runs and in the gym, and they're pushing the weight, and we think, I'll never be like that person. But I can guarantee you, if you walk up to that person and say, hey, I'm not really someone who is self-motivated, would you spend some time helping me to exercise? That would be, because a person who's self-motivated actually gets more motivated when they help someone who isn't as motivated as them.
So it's going to encourage them,
inspire them. It can encourage them. And we sometimes will think, oh, well, if someone is very motivated and does a lot of exercise, they're not going to want to move a step back to help me at the level that I am. But that's also not true. I would, not that I have the time at the moment with a 8-month-old, but I would definitely, if someone came to me and say, hey, would you go walk or do a park run with me on a Saturday, or go do a couple of K walk with me? I can't run it, but would you walk with me? That makes me excited. So we should also not think that people who are self-motivated wouldn't want to help us improve our exercise or help us to get to that level.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I know that this has been really valuable for me. If it's been valuable for you, drop value in the comments, share this video, and just give a huge shout out to Anke. I'm so grateful for this. I feel inspired to just keep doing the things that we're doing that are right, and also to bring our family along into the journey of exercise. That it can be very independent, but it also is helpful for those around you to kind of like what you said, develop a tribe of people that are also looking to get better and more fit, healthy, emotionally and mentally and physically. Is there anything else that you'd want to share with us before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I just have this small, it's not really a quote, but it's my mind on where I am in my journey, and this is especially to encourage women and moms, and I'm going to read it. It says, as women, we have a huge mental and emotional struggle, in many instances far greater than our husbands or partners. It doesn't mean that we are worse off. It only means that because we endure much, especially going through childbirth and raising little humans, we have to be more mindful of choosing both mental, emotional, and physical well-being, and making a conscious decision every day to fight for it. So I want to encourage you, wherever you are in your journey with health and wellness, fight for it. Fight for being more healthy. Fight for finding time in the week to exercise. And just go for it.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Anke.
It's a pleasure.
We'll see you guys later.